Picture this, you are 18 years old. You go on a train to get to college. As soon as you step on the train, you are anxious, you're afraid of what people think. You shut yourself off and hide in between the chairs with music on and just look forward like this. Look forward, just look out the window because you're afraid of interacting with people. You then get off the train, walk up to the college, and you go into class and everyone's speaking, everyone's having a good time, everybody's just interacting with each other, seeing how they're going, laughing about stuff, and you are there anxious, afraid, and you can't interact with anyone at all. And even when you think of the thought of interacting, you get anxiousness, you get afraid, you get a bit scared in yourself, and you can't interact with anyone. And this was me when I was 18 and 19 years old. So 2 years ago, less than 2 years ago, I was like this, where I couldn't interact with anyone. And I was so afraid of speaking to people. And I just want to give you lot some tips of becoming more extroverted when you're an introvert. Me, naturally, I'm very introverted. I like doing stuff by myself. I've got an extroverted side, don't get me wrong. I can interact with people and all that, but I need time for myself. I need to be by myself at time because otherwise I get a bit too wrapped up in stuff and I feel fatigued. My social media in there to a ridiculous amount. So I need time by myself as well. The thing is, when you are introverted, you don't get the opportunities that you want necessarily. So let's say you want a social interaction with some people, you want to go out with some friends. You never get that interaction that you truly want. And that overall hurts you in a real sense. That doesn't help you really because you automatically feel a bit more anxious and not happy and a bit more afraid of interacting with people because you're not trying to make that step forward to interact with people. And this is what I found myself in. I wanted to be social. I had some friends back then, some old friends, but they weren't really pushing me forward anyway. So these people would be on Xbox and I'll speak to them or whatever and we'll go out here or there. But around that time, we didn't do anything too interesting. So I was still readying myself indoors. I'd go into Asda, I'd feel anxiety. And this was a terrible time for me. And the first step I would say for you lot is use visualization. Use visualization to your advantage because if you visualize a certain situation or you going up to a person over there and speaking to them, that automatically gets you a little bit more familiar with what's going on, if that makes sense. So you visualize yourself going up to speaking to that classmate and you just say, hello, how's it been? You getting on with the work or whatever you ask them, you can ask them anything like, how are you getting on with this work? How would you think that interaction is going to go? It's going to go all right because you're asking a normal question. And if you visualize it going good, a lot of times the situation and the reality actually turns good. The interaction is good. Then you automatically got familiarity with that situation, which is going to help you overall. A lot of people don't visualize stuff beforehand as well. And I try to do this, especially when I'm nervous in interactions. Let's say, for example, I see a girl over there. I try to visualize myself speaking to them and interacting with them. And a lot of times my visualization is similar to how the interaction goes. So let's say it's very positive. I give off a certain energy where I'm able to interact with them like that. And I just want you lot to just visualize yourself in different situations with people and going up and speaking to them. Before you go up to a person, let's say you're really anxious, really afraid, visualize that situation and visualize yourself going up to them and talking to them and visualizing what you're saying, how the interaction will go. Obviously, visualize it positively, not negatively, because obviously that could help you. But if you visualize it in a positive way, you're automatically going to go up and be better in that interaction. Second thing is get in the gym. Start building your body and start building yourself as a person because a lot of people are not confident with themselves and that's why they won't interact with a person. But when you are more confident in your physique and your body and you feel strong, you feel in shape, you feel attractive, you can go up to people and speak to them with a bit more confidence and a bit more like you're actually happy in yourself. Therefore, that gives off in that interaction. And a lot of people just need that initial confidence in a sense for themselves to get going. Like I needed. I was getting in the gym, I was getting in the gym, I was getting in the gym. Then I started to have people interacting with me because of it. And I started getting on with people. And whenever I was nervous in interactions, I'd go up to them and speak to them, but I visualized beforehand. And then situations would go good. And then suddenly I've got a friendship with this person. I've got a better friendship with this person. And that was able to build off of the gym because I didn't have confidence naturally before that, really. I was very nervous at times and very afraid at times. And me getting in the gym and building some muscle and getting in good shape was able to push me forward and have more interactions. More interactions would come to me, whether that's women, whether that's just people in general asking you questions, more interactions would come to me. I would go up and actually make sure these interactions happened. And that was good for me at that time. So I urge you lot to get in the gym and start building your body, because sometimes you need that initial little bit of confidence to go up. Let's say you're naturally unconfident. If you get in a bit of better shape, you will actually feel a bit more confident to go up to someone and speak to them. The next step is going to be very obvious, don't get me wrong, but it's actually make sure you have interactions with people. And this is going to be from an overall perspective. Let's say you are going out for a walk on a sunny day like today, and you see someone walking their dog. Ask them, you having a nice day today? How's the weather? You enjoying the weather? Oh, the weather's lovely, or something like that. Just have a brief interaction with these people and almost just build up interactions throughout the day. And this is what I found made a difference. Like, for example, today I've had about 3 different interactions today. I went to the gym, came back, I had weird stuff on the way. People honked at me because they knew me. I don't even know who they were, but they honked at me. And I've had about 3 different interactions, 3 different conversations with people today as well. So I'm naturally already in a social state, and I'm going to go out with my mates in a bit. So I'm naturally already in a social state. Sometimes you need to get in that social state initially, especially as an introvert like me. If I didn't interact with anyone, it'd feel weird and new to me if I didn't speak to anyone, if that makes sense. That day, it'd feel weird to me. So it's almost like building that natural blocks of just interacting. Let's say, in my example from the past, you're on a train and you're going to college. Interact with the person who scanned your ticket. Say, how's your day going? Start walking down, and then as you're walking into the college, just interact with a receptionist or just speak to someone as you're getting into class. And it's almost like building these interactions, it gets easier. And over time, like me, because my old job was customer service based as well, so I was chatting to customers all the time, I was able to build that socialness, if that makes sense. So I'm not as afraid. And the next step is going to be get a social job. Get a social job or join a social place. So let's say a class or whatever it is. Boxing's a good one as well, because you have to interact with people. Like I used to have to interact with people back in the day when I used to train boxing. I used to have to interact with people. Kickboxing, I used to have to interact with people. But when you're in a job setting as well, you start to be able to actually interact with people more so, because you're interacting with people every day. And this is what I found. Once I had a more social job, I started interacting with hundreds to thousands of people a day. Because on a busy Saturday, there'll be loads of people coming in. If you're on the till, you're interacting with people. Therefore, you're not as afraid in these interactions. People are asking you questions. Oh, they're just human, like you. You're able to build more in them interactions, and that allows you to be better, and that allows you to understand yourself more. Get a social job. Get a job where you're actually interacting with people, or you're working with a lot of people, because that will allow you to actually be more confident in interactions and speaking to people. Like, for example, when you're interacting with strangers, it's quite a weird thing at first before. But when you've been in a job where you're interacting with hundreds of strangers, or you've interacted with loads of strangers, it doesn't get as weird now. Now you can go into different places and interact with people. Like I'm like now, I'll go to the gym and I'll speak to people. I'll go in the sauna, in the steam room, and there's people I know, and I'll just speak to them, bring up conversations, and it's nice, and I feel social, and I feel a bit more better on myself because of it, and I have good interactions, good conversations, and I learn shit from it. And sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need to have yourself out of your comfort zone, in a sense. Let's say if you got a really good job at the moment, I would say join a class of some sort. That's what I'd say in that advice. If you can't get a social job because your job's good or whatever, just find a social class. Find somewhere where it's like a team sport, maybe even football, maybe even basketball, whatever it is. I personally like, say, a journey like boxing or something like that, because that teaches you about yourself a lot as well, and your heart and how you are as a person, and you get used to defending yourself and being in that environment, and you build confidence from that as well. And the people there, you're able to interact with them, and you build friends with them as well. That's what I personally would say, boxing or kickboxing, to build that confidence. But you need that camaraderie of interacting with people. If you got a good job, find a class, find something like that where you can actually help yourself and speak to people more. The last thing is going to be start actually telling yourself that you can go and you can do this. So let's say initially your thought would be negative. You see a person over there, it's negative. I can't interact with them. Oh, I'm shit, I'm terrible. Tell yourself I can interact with them. Tell yourself I can make them laugh. Tell yourself you can make them smile. You can make them have a good interaction. You see a girl, tell yourself I can get her number. Tell yourself this stuff and just see how it changes, and changes your whole persona and body language as well. This is what I found makes a difference. It changes your body language when you believe in something. And sometimes you got to tell yourself something a lot to start believing in it. Try this tip when you're struggling as well. Hope you lot got a lot of value in this video. Like, comment, subscribe. If you want to get in amazing shape, shoot me an email, rolllouis23@gmail.com. Thank you.